Hello, my name's Dr Rosy Daniel, and I've been working with an integrative health approach to cancer and many other illnesses now for my whole career, and always putting focus on the emotional state and the need for emotional healing. So I came across EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique, about 10 years ago when I met Rowena Beaumont. And since that time, it's been one of the key parts of my therapeutic approach. Before that, I was working a lot recommending people towards transpersonal counselling and psychodynamic counselling or psychosynthesis, all of which have their place and are extremely valuable for people to make sense of what's happening to them and to process their feelings and emotions. But the reason why EFT has been so valuable is because it's about releasing emotional energy. Rowena will explain, of course, how it works and what the theory is behind this. But my clients have three big needs which EFT can serve brilliantly. The first is, of course, the shock and the fear and all the emotions that come up with receiving a diagnosis of a life-threatening illness. So this may be also anger or dismay, or and put people into a very, very distressed state. So EFT can be brilliant for helping people let go of those initial reactions and come down to a place where it hasn't necessarily changed the situation, but their ability to cope with it and to move forward is much, much stronger. Second, in the holistic approach to cancer, we make it is very important to look at the underlying emotional state and whether there are past emotional hurts or wounds which people have been carrying perhaps since their childhood. What we know from the science of psychoneuroimmunology, which is how our thoughts and feelings are relating through to our endocrine system and our immune system, is that when we hold on to past emotion, that this can profoundly affect our immune system. And if we're immune depressed, then cancer cells have more of a chance to get going and the disease progress. So it's very important that people are helped to heal and deal with past emotion. So with EFT, we can quite quickly help people again to release emotional energy, perhaps that they've been holding on to for a very, very long time. And that produces a lightening and a freeing of the individual to come to living fully in the present and to actually start generating new energy and a different emotional reality for themselves with happiness and joy and excitement in their lives. And then the third big thing is, of course, that inevitably a point will come for all of us where we have to contemplate our mortality. And for those with a life-threatening illness, that is the elephant in the room. You know, the question of am I going to die? When am I going to die? How am I going to die? And that can be creating a lot of fear and anxiety. So EFT can be fantastically helpful, again, for releasing the energy of these emotions. I also find that with EFT, that sometimes what happens is the emotions we may be feeling or connecting with at the moment bridge us across into past memories and possibly even past life memories, family patterns, ancestral patterns. And so what I see Rowena being able to do with clients is to release some of these deeper energetic patterns and so that as a soul making a transition out of this life, that people can move towards the end of their life and their transition whenever that comes in a much lighter, freer, happier place. When I first met Rowena and started understanding the value of this work, I suggested that she combine it with her other main skill, which is as a healer. And what works particularly well is this combination of the emotional freedom technique first, combine them with a session of what she calls regenerative healing. So it's as if in place of distressed energy, or what Rowena sometimes calls misqualified energy in the body or in the field of the person, she's then able to pour in beautiful, fine, high, loving energy to replace that, and to give the person a new template of love and peace and an equilibrium that they may not have felt before, or for a very, very long time. So in addition to the work I've seen Rowena do with people with cancer, I've seen her help where people have phobias and fears that are interfering with their ability to work or form new relationships perhaps. So when people have anxiety and a strong self-stressing tendency, this can be very, very useful. And for myself, I went to Rowena when I was in a state of grief recently, and my grief was so intense that it was really pretty difficult for me to work. And I would say I went into the session with a volume 9 level grief and came out perhaps with a volume 3 level grief. So again, the situation hadn't changed, but my ability to function had returned. So I would recommend EFT alongside for anybody going through emotional upheavals, or who wishes to lighten their spirit through this really great form of emotional healing.